Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I hope you're all doing good. Listen, I want to share something with you that I don't think a lot of you don't know about me. It's something I went through, and I just wanted to share because that's what we need to do. Anyways, about 25 years ago, we were at a wedding in Vegas, and I started feeling weird. My heart was beating fast, my hands were getting clammy and everything, and I couldn't breathe. And so um, it got so bad that we actually left the wedding. We drove all the way home, went directly to the hospital, and they gave me Ativan, and they said I had a panic attack. Little did I know that those panic attacks would continue for about 15 years, and that Ativan turned into Xanax after I saw my doctor, and that turned into a 20-year addiction. Um, I want to focus more on the anxiety. When I was going through the anxiety and the panic attacks, they were really bad. I mean, I was having severe panic attacks where I thought I was going to die. I would pace around the room. I would get super dizzy. I ended up at the emergency room at least 10, 15 times. And every time it was like, oh, you're having a panic attack. We're going to calm you down with some drugs. And there's a lot of times where I just drove to the parking lot and sat in the parking lot and just waited. I kind of understood that it would go away. Anyways, that journey lasted for about 20 years. And so I started, I saw psychologists, I saw psychiatrists. And when I saw the psychiatrist, he sat down with me for about maybe 5 minutes, and he gave me antidepressant. And that antidepressant just messed with me. I mean, I became a person that I wasn't at all. So I went back and I said, hey, this antidepressant won't work. Long story short, he started stacking them, putting different ones on top of it, and it made me horrible. And so I got myself off of those things, and I've talked to other people. It works great for them. But anyways, I started researching, like, what can I do for, and going back to the psychologist, I saw a couple psychologists for a long time. And at the end, they basically say, we don't know what's wrong with you. Maybe it's just life, maybe, and maybe it's genetic. And I want to get back to that. You're going to have it the rest of your life. You can manage it. And so I ended up finding myself at GNC, and I was talking to a guy there that just got back from Iraq, and he was a Marine. And I was telling him about it, and he's like, get yourself off of those drugs, do diet, do exercise, So I started working out, I started eating better, and it was kind of helping, and so I started really diving into it and do a lot of research and for natural stuff. And I found like GABA and magnesium, and I took some notes. I want to write it down. And valerian root. There's a bunch of stuff out there that's natural that can help you, but talk to your doctor and see if it works. But anyways, this was also the height of my drinking. And so, we've been told, that alcohol relaxes you. But it doesn't. It may relax you for the beginning. But I remember, the next day with being hungover, and my anxiety was through the roof. It was really bad, because that's just the alcohol, the poison that's just trying to escape your body. It messes with your mind, it messes with everything. And a little fun fact too, I started reading books about, the mental part of addiction and all that stuff. And one thing that was kind of cool that I found is, like, how when you go out for your first drink and you take that first sip and you're like, and you feel relaxed, the alcohol hasn't even entered your body yet, and it's your brain telling you, okay, you've had that first sip, now you're relaxed. So the brain is very powerful on that. But the words, that were spoken over me when they couldn't figure it out were, it's genetic, it's incurable, so I lived with those words for a long time, and I'm still dealing with some of that stuff with some of my health issues. They're saying it's incurable. So just be careful with those words that are spoken over you. It's just the enemy that's placing a word on you that's going to hold you in bondage. So don't listen to that. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't know the genetic part of all that stuff. But just don't let that, my mom used to say hogwash, so I'm going to say that's all hogwash. So just do your research about it. But one of the things when I was getting when I was having the bad panic attacks, I didn't know the Lord yet. And so now what I do is I just pray. I pray it out before I go into meetings. I pray before I go to work. But for when you're having a really severe panic attacks, what I learned is positive talk. Never tell yourself, I'm going to die. I'm not going to get out of this. I'm broken. Something is wrong with me. Just go, you know what? I'm not dying. This is going to pass. And that right there is very, very important. Try to get yourself out of the situation. There's been many times where I've been in meetings, in conferences and stuff through work, and you feel like you can't get up, but just calm yourself down. And then if you need to leave, just say, I need to use the restroom or whatever it was. And then there's a lot of breathing exercises. There's 4-7-8. There's all kinds of breathing exercises that you can use. I'm sorry, I just want to make sure. And so this morning, I started asking, I was talking to God, but I was asking myself, like, why was I gone through this for 20 years, and I feel it's because of this moment. When we go through stuff, we need to share our testimony. We need to encourage each other, and it's like, that may be kind of hard to perceive, like, hey, like, I went through 20 years of this to share. Yeah. I mean, that's what we need to do. We need to share, it's like, and it's crazy to me that one time that I took Xanax, it created a 20-year addiction. I'm no longer on Xanax. God removed that from me. But it was like my pornography. Like the first time I found a magazine at 10 years old, that started a 30-year addiction. Just be very, very, and just to encourage you, I know people are taking antidepressants. I know people get in accidents and they hurt their back and they get this fentanyl and this oxycodone and all this other stuff. I'm going to encourage you can get out of it. There's steps that you can do it. You can get out of that. But for me, like I said, what I do now is I just pray. I pray on my way to work. I said, God, just, remove this away from me. Give me peace in my mind. I don't own this. You didn't create me to have me on this earth to carry this anxiety on my shoulders. I don't own this, or, however you want to say it. But anyways, I wanted to share that with you guys. Anxiety it's horrible, and I still have anxiety. I have like a 2 or 3, but I've learned to really control it. And another thing, people used to always tell me, and I had just heard this the other day. It was like, I never thought that, you had anxiety. And it's like, yeah, and I've learned the managing skills and stuff, but I've learned to mask it really, really well. Just watch those words spoken over you for whatever it is, it's like, and I went through that too. I was like, when I tried to quit drinking, I was like, oh, my mom drank and my dad drank and my uncle and my aunt, my brother, and all these stuff. I must be an alcoholic. I'm stuck with this. You're not stuck with it, man. And even I was told with the anxiety, they ask, did your parents have anxiety? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, well, that's probably why. Sorry, I'm shaking a little bit. But anyways, I hope this helps and encourages some of you guys. You don't have to get stuck. Get help. Talk to your doctor about the natural stuff. From what I've found, it's all pretty safe. But careful with the magnesium too. That lowers your blood pressure. I was just talking to somebody the other day, and they have low blood pressure. So just be cautious and do your research and talk to somebody you trust. So anyways, God bless you guys. I hope everybody's having well, and just watch that anxiety, watch it, and don't stress about the small stuff, man. Really, if you have a lot to do in a day, say if you have like 10 things to do, you wake up in the morning, you're like, oh, I've got these 10 things to do. What I've learned is just focus on the one. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to knock this out. I'm going to get it done. And you just kind of do baby steps of what you have to get through the day, and that way it's not all just stacked up on the morning. So I hope that helps. Anyways, have a good day. Bless you guys. Love you.